Alright, so bit of a late night game here, but we are back. The Wild Card Tourney. This is Brian, or Extra Large Tit, and I am playing in my quarterfinals match against Mr. JSax21. As a refresher for the rules, we are playing 1v1 doubles, which means, let's see, what does this mean? Private game, hide bank cards, friendly robber is on. Okay. Game mode, dice random, game speed fast. Dice random, fast. Max players 2, card discard limit 9 instead of 7. Players 2. And points to win, I believe, are to 15. Okay. JPoogie21. Let me just double check that this is my opponent. And if so, we're ready to rock and roll. I don't know why I'm playing as Laris. It's fine, it doesn't matter. As usual, best, we're going to see if we can win by 16 points. And if possible, if our opponent gives us an opportunity, we will try to hit the elusive 17-point win. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. First things first, the most important thing is winning and moving on. But I do believe the competition is rather soft, so I am looking forward to playing this. Okay. We'll cut back to when my opponent says he's ready. He says he just needs 1 second to start. Again, talking about some usual strategy that you might need to consider when playing a 1v1 game versus the regular fours variant. The friendly robber is huge, which essentially says you cannot place the robber on somebody's hex when they have under 3 VPs. This does not include if you draw a victory point, because that technically doesn't signify if you have 3 VPs or not. But if you build another settlement, you build a city, I mean, you start with 2 VPs with your placements, right? And then if you build another settlement, or you build a city, or you take longest road or largest army, you will be at 3 or more VPs. And that's when your opponent, if they roll a 7, can not only place it on your tiles to block you, but also to steal a card. And early on in a 1v1 format, this can make a huge difference. Which is why you might sometimes see me not necessarily build my next settlement or city up immediately. It really depends on the situation, because getting that early robber on you is quite hurtful. Okay, so it looks like my opponent is ready. Let's start the game. Alright, and we're placing first, and I will say, I think placement in a 1v1 game is probably about 70% of determining whether you will win or lose the game. So it really makes a big difference where you end up placing. So taking a look right now, what spots jump out to me? Well, first of all, this is a pretty low ored board. Really, this 10 ore is the largest ore that we have. This 12 is basically a non-factor. 3-or is not that great either. Something else that jumps out to me, this 659 is clearly the highest producing spot. And what would be the dream is to pair the 659 with like an 8510 right here. Right? But I'm thinking that if I go 659, my opponent might go 8510, and then they'll go for one of these wood, wheat, sheep spots, which is fine. It's a little awkward because there's not really a good, like, this is clearly the best sheep and the best wheat. Let's see. Would I be happy with 659 if he goes 5810 to go 843? I think so. Okay, let's make a replacement. The question is where to place. And I'm going to say we're going to build this way. It's the 6-3-11 spot. Seems pretty juicy to me. Also leaves the 5-4-11, although it's very likely that he might place on the... I'm seeing like an 8-5-10, 9-4-11 spot, and then having him point down to this 8-4-3 to make up for his lack of wheat production. I mean, it's a very strong play as well too, so we'll see. Something interesting to consider is that had this been like a stronger or spot than a 3, I would have even considered just going for a strict or wheat sheep setup. It's a lot more possible to run in a 1v1 game just because you do want to be buying a lot of depth cards, especially when we're playing to 15 points. Getting longest road or largest army is pretty much a requirement. It's very hard to hit 15 victory points without getting longest road or largest army. And so buying dev cards will be at a premium. For those that don't know, there are 14 knights in the dev card deck. So in a 1v1 game, it's the first person who can pull and use 7 knights will lock largest army. And as you can see from down here, including this one road, both players get 15 roads total. So if you're able to make a longest road of 15, you also lock a longest road. So those are some numbers to keep in mind when playing. 7 knights for largest army and 15 roads for longest road. Of course, it doesn't have to be 15 depending on how your opponent is set up, but okay. And yes, he takes the 8-5-10, something we probably were expecting. He goes 9-4-11 here. And he points down. Okay, interesting. And he points up. The 3-1-4 is strong. But if he lets me go the 8-4-3 and point up and get the 10-3-11, I'll be very, very happy. I'll have 2 ore, 2 sheep, 2 wheat. And really, I should be outproducing him in the ore, wheat, sheep department. We'll see where he ends up placing. The only issue is if I'm able to take the 8-4-3, point my road up, settle on the 3-11-10. This road right here becomes a little useless, but it's fine. I think in the long run it's okay. I don't know what he's thinking about. Maybe 5. Oh. Interesting. That's... I don't know why you would ever go there over the 4-9-11. Because what are you pointing to? The 8-4, right? Like that's ideally you don't want to settle on a two tile spot. I mean, the 3 wheat versus the 11 wheat, it's essentially the same, right? You get 2 pips of production, and the difference is if you settled on the 9-4-11, you would have been able to have 2 wonderful high producing spots, the 6-9-3 and the 8-4-3. So I think already my opponent has made a pretty big blunder here. We'll see how that will factor in to the later game. But yeah, I mean, this pretty much allows me to build up to the 10-3-11. I'm pretty high winning this now. Okay, so the only way I can lose if he tries to plow me here, which will be a little annoying. I will have to keep track of his roads. He already has 1. Starts with the wood, and we just rolled an 8. Let's see where he puts his first road. Or if he places a road at all. He doesn't place a road, which I think is smart. Really holding on. Okay, really holding on to his opportunities. If he plows me here, that will be a pretty good play, but he will have to consider that I could easily just road settle once, much quicker than he can. Okay, we're at 8 resources. 9. Okay, he builds a road. He's not going to plow me. He's given up on that effort. Okay. Great. And now this is one of the instances where I talked about, not settle. I was talking about whether you should have settled early or not. In this case, I mean, besides the 5, which would be a little annoying if you blocked, I think the early settle is worth it. If I can get a city on the 10-3-11, I just have such a huge advantage on him in terms of war sheet production. Let's see, if he robs the 5 with the 6, it would be interesting. Man, this is... Okay, he robs the 5. Honestly, if I were him, I probably would have robbed the 6. You need to stop me from buying knights and citying up. Steals another useless sheep. He's really hoping for another wood at this point, I think, to settle. So I'm wondering if he's going to 4-for-1 his sheep. No, he doesn't. That's a risky play, especially at 10 cards. But it pays off. He gets his wood. Never mind. He does have to discard at least half his hand, but he should have enough to settle. Yeah, that's tough. Go 4 sheep and a wheat. Probably gonna steal another sheep. I'm guessing you probably hit my 6 wheat. Yeah, smart play. Okay, that hurts. We love an 11 here just to buy some dev cards. A 7 wouldn't be bad. If a 7 comes, I think I'll hit the 4 sheep. It's double production. He already has a wheat, so blocking the 8 wheat wouldn't make that much sense. Okay. Fine. Oh, okay. Okay, so question, do I want to city or do I want to buy a dev card here? Kind of just want a city. My worries I pull a victory point and I fall behind. The city allows me to keep pace with the ore production, so every time a 10 rolls, he gets 2 ore, I get 2 ore. My ore advantage is still on this 3 ore. I just pray that an 11 has to roll, or I roll 7 eventually. Just maintaining this lead is advantage, or weak sheep advantage is what I'm looking for. Okay. Nice. 6 is great. 3 is great. Here we go. We hit the 4. Wish I could take a wheat, but it's fine. Okay, it's a well-timed block. Here we're definitely going to buy a dev card. Okay, not the worst. If I can flip this Year of Plenty into 2 knights, I'll be very happy. And have a very comfortable lead. Yeah, being able to buy knights and protect yourself is a huge factor, often underestimated in this 1v1 strategy. Okay. So the question is, do I use my Year of Plenty to buy another city? I think I'm going to buy a knight. Reason being, even if I sell city the 659, if they roll a 7 and block my 6, it feels kind of useless in the end anyways. Okay. Yeah, this should be GG soon. Yeah, we're gonna see this one. Yeah. I am so sorry. This was a great game, but should not last much longer. I mean, look, I have 3 cities. He has 0 so far. My production's just gonna outpace his very quickly. We'll even 4 for 1 our stone just to get this spot. Our next order of business will be getting on this 3-1 port. I mean, he can steal a stone. Well, that means he should be able to buy a dev card. He should buy a dev card here. Oh, he goes for the city. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I respect it, but I think the game's already over. Almost tempted to self-block the 10 for memes, but we're going to hit the 8 here. Make it really hard for him to buy dev cards. If he can't buy the dev cards and I get more knights, yeah, it's game over. He can take longest road for now, but I don't think he will be able to pull this soon. Wow, that 3, a little annoying. That's fine. Yeah, here, easy 3 dev cards. What the fuck is this? 2 road buildings. I mean, it's fine. At least I got 1 knight out of the 3 dev cards. Yeah, we're just popping off on road building materials. We'll build another road here, just because if I roll, like, I don't want to get over 10 if I roll a 6. Yeah, I don't know about that. Like, I get you're on the 3-1 port. I mean, it's just a pretty bad situation overall for him. Yeah. I don't even know. I'm kind of just like trolling at this point. Sure, I'll build a row here. You really don't have to worry about much. At this point, the chance of me losing is actually like 0, so I wish there was a way for me to... the only way for me to get 17 points as a win is to like cut off his road. But that's not really possible. Or like to build and then place a settlement on one of his roads. It's fine. It doesn't matter. It's not really happening. Let me just use a knight here. I'm not really thinking too much at this point. Like, I'm very close to winning at this point here. What am I gonna do? Alright, I build 2 more roads. That gives me to 13. I use a knight. It gets me to 15. I mean, I can just win right here. Without even using the mono, so it was a good game. Oh, I'm so dumb. I thought I was planning on getting 16. I just didn't calculate it right. It's fine. It doesn't matter. We'll play the next game and try to get 16 there. All right, time for game 2.